First of all, I think you look at the system and make sure that the people who can't get a job, I mean, who aren't physically able, are taken care of. The second thing I think you do is make sure there's adequate transition benefits in place. And let me give you a couple of examples that I added to the welfare reform law in the late 80s. One was for children born out of wedlock, we required that the father be identified and that you go after the father to have him help build a relationship with the child by making child support payments. Now, does it save you a lot of money? No, it saves a little bit. But what it does is it at least gives that child an identity of the father and a chance that some of them will develop that relationship. But it's kind of a transition requirement that comes along with it. The second one was, what we found was a lot of women who have children out of wedlock, where the children are sick, who don't have insurance. And if they get a job, they lose Medicaid. So let's say you're on welfare, you're getting paid as much as the job pays, and you have a sick child. Are you going to take a job and give up your health insurance for your child? Well, probably not. So one of the things we did was give a year transition benefit so that the Medicaid for the child, for the family, goes on for a year after that person gets a job. You go for it. So some of it's transition benefits, but some of it is requirements. For example, I think maybe you saw the president had waived the requirement for work in the bill, so that it was no longer required if you were able-bodied in terms of seeking a job. That, I think, is a tragedy. And the people you're hurting are the people who are on assistance who need to get into the real economy. That needs to be back in place, and it needs to stronger. The unions diluted that, so when they say work's required, what it means is you either have to get a job, or you have to look for a job, or you have to get training for a job, or you have to get education. In my mind, you ought to get a job, okay? But to waive the requirement even to get training or education, I think is a tragedy. I think that will help along with it. I think you also need to review the benefits and make sure that the filings are accurate, because we are not enforcing a lot of the rules that are in place, and I think all of that would help. But the biggest thing would be helping people find a job, because most people on welfare want a job and they want an opportunity.